Even when we do our best to recycle, a lot of rubbish still ends up in landfill, and stuff like food scraps, garden waste, and nappies all generate a potent greenhouse gas called methane.
Yeah, if we went in here and you had the waste inside the landfill site, the methane would build in pressure and eventually it would start to smell. It would create off-site environmental issues if no one was here doing what we do.
And what they do here is capture almost all of that methane from the rotting organic rubbish in the landfill. And they don't just trap the methane, they power these engines with it to generate green electricity.
One of the things that's really useful about this energy as a form of renewable energy is it's 24/7. These engines are running all the time. So unlike solar or wind, which comes and goes, you can always rely on the electricity produced by this landfill.
There are landfills across the country where climate change gas isn't escaping, but is instead trapped and turned into a very useful source of green power. Enough for around 10,000 homes a year from this site alone. And yet all of this could come to an end because the government is axing the subsidy that supports all this work.
87% of these sites would close overnight, which means not only would you lose the benefit for the renewable energy that comes from them, but also you'd see an increase in methane emissions across the UK, somewhere between 7 and 14% based upon a recent study.
It's not just the industry lobbying to keep this subsidy. Environmental charities want it to continue as part of our bigger efforts to deal with climate change.
Because it's also really short-lived in the atmosphere, actually tackling methane emissions can have an immediate effect, and we should be thinking of action on methane as the emergency brake on climate change.
Our landfills will keep producing methane for years, whatever the government does, but this change in policy could cause real damage to the climate, to our green electricity supply, and end a British success story. David Gregory-Kumar, BBC Midlands Today, near Rugby. David Gregory-Kumar, BBC, East Midlands Today, near Lutterworth.
Uh, 87% of these sites would close overnight, which means not only would you lose the benefit for the renewable energy that comes from them, but also you'd see an increase in methane emissions across the UK, somewhere between 7 and 14% based upon a recent study.